So, growing up, I didn't have a very strong experience of patriotism. It wasn't that I hated where I lived or anything like that. I just never understood this inherent sense of thinking that America is better. And I decided to go to the Women's March to the Salt Lake Capitol today because I have found myself in a number of situations as of late where being quiet was not the answer, and it did not help me. And I came up here from Cedar City and marching with those women, and not just women, but men and children and dogs too, up the hill. It was the first time I'd really experienced a full sense of patriotism, because I realized that I don't necessarily think that America is the greatest country in the world, but I think it can be. So I voted in this election, and it is not the first election that I have voted in, but it was also the first time that I felt like not only were there not great options, there also weren't any good options. And feeling like that left me in a position where it felt like all of us had to do something. And sometimes the first thing you do is just showing up. And marching and protesting is not the end, it's the beginning. But that's when I realized why the freedom to assembly is in the Constitution. Because being patriotic isn't about not questioning things.
The Green Line train to West Body Central will depart.
Or changing your values.
Okay.
What did I say? Sorry.
You were saying...
Freedom to assembly is...
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So that's when I realized that freedom to assembly is in the Constitution for a reason. Because patriotism isn't about inherently loving your country or just taking everybody else's values as your own. It's about demanding your country be better because you know it can be. And I am constantly proud of where I live. I love Utah. And a lot of people like me, the tattooed and the pierced, they question that, but I really, really love Utah, and this is my home. And walking up the hill with 10,000 or so of Utah's residents really drove home for me that I live in a place full of very, very kind and wonderful and smart individuals. And my patriotism comes from loving where I live, because people don't take no for an answer. I was very proud to be an American today, and I was very proud to be in Salt Lake City, Utah, because more than anything, the kindness and the determination to stick to core values is what represents Americans. Because we're all different, but all of us are trying to figure out ways to make life better for everybody. We fight a lot about how to do that, but it doesn't have to be a partisan fight. And I don't know how many of those women were Democrats. It seems like a high number for Utah, but it wasn't just them. It was the staff of the Capitol building that not only let us in, but smiled and laughed and joked with us so graciously. The fact that there was no violence, not only because the marchers didn't start any violence, but also because there was no confrontation from the people who actually work in the Capitol. That, to me, is what a democracy looks like. Democracy, to me, means showing up and making sure you're seen.